Ayubowan, may the Triple Gem bless you. A warm welcome once again to the Mahadea.
And in business world, they say perception is reality, because you deal with people, so you play with perceptions of people to sell your product or service. But in reality, perception is not real, because it keeps changing. So that is, I think, this version fits in. You know, what you see, do not. You know, you just said that it's not what it appears to be, nor is it otherwise. It's beautiful, fits into this situation, because perceptions change, and they are not real. And you see this, when you are able to ascertain something without interpreting it, without perceiving, and without making a judgment, then it does not arise.
Okay. Now, so if I ask you, how does the practice of Buddhists reflect in the society?
I think this question is now raised in many quarters, and people start questioning this quite often than before, particularly when you look at the level of crime rate, the level of incidents, and even the alcohol consumption, for example. Although I'm not saying that you know, we are a multicultural society, so it's difficult to say who drinks what, but the fact remains in the country, and we call it a country which has preserved, you know, Theravada, pure Buddhism, and with all that, and it is also very disheartening to see the ambitions that people go after, and the stress that the children have to go after, because the amount of pressure that the parents are exerting on them for them to be someone in the society. So all around, you know, one wonders, you know, that it's time that you need to perceive the Buddha's message little in a more comprehensive manner than of course the rituals, the Buddhist culture, all that is necessary. But what is really necessary to change the society is to comprehend this, the core message, and that will probably take the society towards a better environment than what we are living in now. I suppose this you know, I could be open about it, because today, if you want to assess someone, the criteria of assessing people in the society is probably the type of car he is using, or the type of house that he is living, or the amount of power that someone is holding, or the position that you are, or the designation. So these are the things that matter to the majority of the society. But
so that's the criteria of branding people. The society brands people according to that criteria.
Exactly. It's like that all what you learn in the Hampasla, all what you learn in the temples, all what you, then how it reflects in the society should be different. It's not what we see today. You see, and then so much so that, you know, this has become a kind of a driving force, that tomorrow I have to have this, and day after I have to have this, and it overrides basically this Brahma Vivarana, that you know, the Karuna, Mudita, all that, because and that is the dangerous area that we Buddhists have to look into, and then wherever possible, that if you do not encourage, it's not, I'm not saying that one needs to be sarcastic at that, but each of us can play a role in this. And then, you know, when someone comes up with something, you can always say, is it necessary? Is it the one that you want in life? You know, I remember sometime back, a university professor was asked some years ago, his son was selected to the university, and this professor was asked, what do you want him to be? And so he said, I want him to be a good man. You know? So something like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have frills, labels, designations, it just say, someone who is useful to himself and the society at large.
True. So I think it was a simple and wonderful answer. I want him to be a good man.
Absolutely.
Don't you think so? Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was a wonderful answer. Now, sir, if I ask you this, now you have been in foreign countries for a particular time period of your life. Now, if I ask you this, now why do you think some Europeans absorb Buddhism more than us who are by birth Buddhists?
Now, most of these people who have lived in advanced countries, for instance, I lived in Norway, and which at that time was the richest country in the world. And these people have everything in life. Whatever you want, because their annual income is so high, so that they get to travel, you can go to any country for a holiday and all that. And then they have realized that, as I said before, this so-called happiness that we are talking about, it's just one side of the coin. Your sorrow comes afterwards, and it is always there. And this is what the material world has taught them. Look, the happiness has something else. And then you may be comfortable, but within you are not happy because, due to various reasons. And also the same way, the Buddha himself saw this. After all, he is the one who had everything. He was to be Sakkviti, I think.
He could have been an emperor.
He wasn't emperor. Okay. And then, and when he saw an old person, his question was, why is this man old? And then everybody is going to get old. So then he was wondering, so what's the point in being a king if I'm going to be old? And then old age brings you weakness, sicknesses, and you will be nobody afterwards. Today if you're old, you are, not wanted anymore. And then, when you see a sick man, one is subject to sickness. So that's why they say, this realization sometimes they say this realization can occur to someone in two stages in life. One is when you become sick, then you lose all your other labels. True. Whether you are a big man or a small man, you are a CEO of a company or you are a director of someone. When you are sick, and that is a time that probably you realize, I'm subject to this and there is no way out. And when you get old, also there's, and of course when you are eventually reaching death, and that is also an occasion some people obviously realize, look, this is inevitable. In spite of my struggle, in spite of my achievements, in spite of all the, awards that I have won, this is the final, the stage, because the body, that's as far as the body can go. Because they have not seen the consciousness in you. They have not seen that intelligence that, it can occur to you in any of these stages. But why wait till then? You can do that analysis at any stage of your life and see that there is something. And this is the reason why that there was a better opportunity for Europeans to see this, because they always keep an open mind. Because some are, of course, although they are supposed to be having some religion, but their life is such that they are independent. They are carrying an open, or they are calling them free thinkers. So that gives them the opportunity. So when they see some Buddhist scriptures, when they see some of the things that even websites, if you look at the quotes of Buddha, and they begin to think, why did he say this? Why did and the Buddha, for example, said, forget the past, forget the future. They don't exist. They are illusions. It's tend to go in depth to see whether it is true, and it is true. Whatever the way you argue, it is true, because it's only that you are living in the past and the future. It's not there really. So they have a better chance because they are not, they don't have predetermined versions. But here, unfortunately, when you see, when you learn Buddhism to gain a knowledge, you tend to have these predetermined notions and say this is it and this is it. So that blocks your thinking capacity and the investigative part of your mind, which can see how things happen.
And I think that itself bars whatever, like our understanding or realization. So that is why, as you rightly said, that is why most Europeans tend to absorb Buddhism more and quite faster than Buddhists who are born with that religion itself. Now, sir, before we started this discussion, you were telling me a very interesting story about the arrival of Ajahn Sumedho. I would like you to tell it to our viewers as well. I think that's a message that our viewers could, absorb, learn.
Yeah, this is the kind of practice that Ajahn family follows really, because from Ajahn Chah to Ajahn Sumedho, Ajahn Brahmavansa, of course Ajahn Brahmavansa has come
from the forest monastery tradition of Thailand.
In Thailand, and Ajahn Brahmavansa has been to Sri Lanka several times, and what they advocate really is this let go theory, because when you deal with thoughts, don't embrace thoughts, let the thoughts go, that kind of thing. So Ajahn Sumedho is someone, I think he was heading this Amaravati in London, and I do not know whether he's still there, but in the 80s when he visited Sri Lanka, he had a retreat in Dodanduwa, and that is where Sister Kema was. And they were also these scholars who were trying to share their experiences with whoever was interested in. Ajahn Sumedho was somewhat popular because he was one of the first people who came out of this monastery, because he was an American naval officer or someone, and then because he was eloquent in his preaching, so a lot of people started. So he was quite popular at that time. So when Ajahn Sumedho came to Sri Lanka, we had a few politicians then in the 80s who thought, that we should give political recognition to his arrival, because he's popular and he's recognized. So some people went to receive him at the airport, because they didn't know. It was only at the last moment they came to know the flight number, all that, and then they went to see him. And so Ajahn Sumedho came, and so this officer who was representing one of the politicians went and said, "Sir, we will take you in. We have brought a limousine. Will take you in this." And he said, "No, I have a friend who will take me to the Dodanduwa Strait, so don't worry." So then he asked him, "Sir, can I have your baggage tag, so I'll go and pick it up from the belt?" And he said, "Well, I don't have a baggage." So he was a bit surprised, and he said, "Can I carry your hand luggage?" He said, "I don't have a hand luggage either," So so this was unthinkable at that time, someone traveled all the way from London, without anything. Of course, he had the begging bowl. He used to carry it all the time to symbolize
the begging bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, on his way out of the airport, this Ajahn Sumedho had explained to this person, "Look, why should I have a baggage? All I wear is this robe, and I can borrow it from any temple in Sri Lanka. And if I go hungry, I can just, I only have to hold my begging bowl and I will have enough food